All right, guys. So we're just gonna go straight into it. Why waiting for your team to finish pre-calculus is killing their SAT math score? Let's dive right into it. This is something that I get a lot from my students. My students are like, or their parents more often. They're like, "Hey, Jared, like my kid didn't even do pre-calculus yet. How is he gonna do well on the SAT math section?" That's completely fine, guys. Actually, you don't need pre-calculus to do well in the SAT math section. Okay, it's designed for students who are finishing 10th to 11th grade. Okay, and sometimes not everyone has finished pre-calculus from 10th to 11th grade, right? So if they take it at the beginning of the 11th grade, then even if they were in pre-calculus, then they're not using much of that anyway, right? But let's go over why this myth is completely bustable. All right, in fact, it's actually harming you guys more than doing anything. Okay, so the first thing. Let's break down the SAT math concepts right now. So first, it's important to understand that the SAT math section, while it does include advanced algebra concepts, the vast majority of the test is focused on algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry, and very, very basic trigonometry that is pretty much taught in algebra 2. Okay? This means that, waiting until pre-calculus is complete isn't just unnecessary, it's actually like a wasted opportunity for you guys to start preparing early. Okay? So because the problem with that, right, is like, listen, you know how kids are nowadays, right? They learn something, they absorb it, and then they dump it, right? So let's say let's say if they took they took algebra 2, and they took geometry, right? And they wait another year to finish pre-calculus to start, prepping for the SAT. Guess what's going to happen to them? Right? They're screwed because they've already forgot everything. They dumped everything out once they're done with finals for those two exams, right? So now they have to start rebuilding from scratch again, and then all of a sudden, it's a whole mess again, right? It's like, hey, it's like I don't remember all these things. Now I got to go back to algebra 2. I got to go back to algebra 1 and review these concepts. So in fact, you're probably doing them a disservice by having them wait until they finish pre-calculus, because pre-calculus isn't even going to be on the test anyway, if that, barely any. And most of that stuff that you learn is you learn at the end of geometry, you learn at the end of calculus, or not calculus, algebra 2 anyway. All right, so if you wait too long, it's just going to be bad news for you guys. Okay, so also, first thing is pre-calculus. Again, it's not a prerequisite. Okay, unlike school exams that require like a sequential understanding of math concepts, like you need algebra 1 to go into algebra 2, you need to know that to go to geometry. The SAT is designed to assess a broader range of mathematical thinking. Okay, again, all of these problem-solving skills needed for the SAT are taught well before pre-calculus, right? They use more logic and analytical skills over advanced math concepts. Because if you guys actually looked at the test is not a lot of conceptual stuff. It's a lot of tricky questions here. It's a lot of tricky questions. So again, if you're waiting until pre-calculus to go over those tricky questions, then you're again doing your kid a disservice, because they're not going to have time to practice all of those things. Okay. Again, right? It's like it's more along the lines of like, how do you do these problems? More like not like how do I know how to. It's like, how do you do these types of problems, right? Because in pre-calculus, right? Pre-calculus is one of those things where it's like, hey, it's very formula based. It's very like, it's formula based, right? And there's not a lot of word problems and not a lot. It's more straight to the point. But the SAT math section is more analytical, logical thinking, right? And more like trick questions, you know what I'm saying? And pre-calculus, so that's why a lot of students that get A's in pre-calculus, they get bad scores in the SATs, because they don't know how to think. And if they had spent more time learning how to think for these types of problems, then they wouldn't have an issue with it. Okay, now the next thing is, hey, integration over isolation. Okay, integrating SAT prep earlier in the academic journey, it allows your students to apply their current math studies in the concept of SAT math problems. Because again, these concepts are already fresh in their brains. Now they're going to be able to apply logically how to do these problems, right? Now what this does, it reinforces their learning in the actual class that they're in right now. So they're actually going to get a better score on those a better score in their actual curriculum, right? And it's also going to improve the memory retention. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more hardwired into brain. Okay. What this does, it builds confidence. It builds familiarity with the test format. This is far better than just cramming everything at the last minute, okay? And the last thing is, again, the risk of delay, guys. Just to hammer it home, waiting too long to practice for the SAT can lead to cramming, unnecessary stress. So starting earlier allows for a more relaxed, more steady preparation pace, so that you can build on the fundamentals and keep going up, rather than just skimming the surface of these topics. So and you're in a rush before the test. Okay, so here's a better way for you guys to actually increase your teen's SAT math score, and that's using what we call here the geometry guru method, right? The math guru method more often, right? First thing you do is discover and enhance. We don't wait. Okay, so right from the start, right, we do a complete diagnostic on you, so you can identify how ready a student is for SAT math and pinpointing the area of weaknesses that can be focused on early. Okay, so again, if you wait too long and you found out, hey, you're weak here, here, and here, that's not going to give you enough time. Okay, it was like, oh, but I know precalculus. SAT doesn't care about precalculus. Next, what we do is we apply and we practice. So our approach uses real SAT questions to enhance learning as your team progresses through their regular math courses, right? So, let's say, for example, your kid is in Algebra 2 right now. You're going to be using real SAT math problems that relate to Algebra 2. So then it reinforces their studying. It reinforces their concepts in the actual curriculum that they're studying right now and for the SAT as well, okay? Because just memorizing formulas and quick strategies, right before the actual exam is not going to do you any good, okay? Understanding beats tips and tricks any day of the week. Last thing is we do simulation of success, okay? So we do regular simulated exams to prepare your team, not just academically, but mentally for the exam as well. And what this does is for the actual, test that they take for the curriculum, I'm talking about the regular school curriculum, it's like they're going to be able to handle that test pressure. They're going to be able to handle that that anxiety, right? Instead of using it as like a weakness, you're going to use it as a strategy. Okay. So, again, if you start earlier, regardless of where your teen is in their coursework, right? It's going to build more endurance, reduce your test anxiety. And then, again, it's going to carry over not just to the SAT, but to other places as well, other concepts as well, right? Algebra 2, Algebra 1, right? For whatever test they take. Okay. So again, just in general, not waiting until you do SAT, not waiting until you do pre-calculus is going to make sure you have a smoother, more confident experience in the test, okay? All right, guys, if you guys are ready to jumpstart your teen's SAT math prep journey without waiting for pre-calculus, drop me a message, right? Or below this video, comment the word mastery, and let's tailor a plan that fits your teen's needs so that we can get them to the score that they're wanting so that they can get into the colleges of their dreams and qualify for scholarships, all right? Thanks a lot for your time, guys. Hope you guys thought that this was helpful. I will see you guys in the next live stream, all right? Thanks.